The Jurassic League issue 3, Juan Gideon and Daniel Warren Johnson writing with Rafael Garez, sorry, on the art. So it's not Gideon or on the art again for issue 3.
Yeah, this was the book I saved for last, thinking, oh, Jurassic League, nice little fun little romp to kind of finish me off.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy, this art is rough.
It's not, yeah, like it's definitely nowhere near as good. Oddly, I think it does a reasonably good job of feeling like it's in the style of the regular art, even though it's nowhere like. Does that?
No, I disagree. I think it's the colors that are in the same style. But because I went back and checked because I was like, am I imagining just how different this is? So I went back and looked at the previous issue, and the line work on the previous it's clean. Yeah. It's like really clean. This is just
I never went back and checked. I did definitely notice that it wasn't as good though. What was particularly sticking out to me though was that the action was a bit harder to follow. Maybe not quite as much as the book we just talked about, but there was definitely moments when there was action scenes where there was so many like characters just moving quick and grabbing hold of each other that instead of having a flow where I was like following like an action sequence, I was just kind of like getting a mess of different panels of like fighting going on.
Yeah, this lost pretty much everything that I loved about it. There was not much in the sense of dynamic layouts, not really. I found it really hard to follow with this really I don't want to call it bad arcs. I don't think it's bad. I think it's bad for this book. I don't want to say it's bad, but it's very different. It's very chunky. It's very rough. Whereas previously, it's really strong, bold, smooth lines. This is a lot heavier on the inks, a lot heavier shading going on. Like all the characters, you feel all the bumps on the dinosaur skin, whereas the texture of them previously was a lot smoother. And I really struggled to enjoy this issue kind of at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, the book, you've got basically two groups of characters having their own fights. We get a more concrete introduction to the Flasheraptor, whatever he's called, and the Green Torch, who then interact a bit with the Aquanix. And I did kind of get a chuckle out of this issue because the Aquanix started to feel like the Deep from the boys in that it's like he thinks he's protecting the dolphin. Oh, the dolphin's healing, it's had a rough time, but it's better now. And then just as he says that, Joker Zard comes up and just starts munching on it.
Yeah.
And I got a bit of a dark chuckle out of that, if I'm honest.
It was very much back to Aquaman being the butt of the joke sort of take on this.
So they're all fighting. What are the other villains that are here for that? You've got Atrocitaurus, who was introduced before. So that's cool. You got all these fighting going on, and then we eventually cut back to the others, which is Super Saur and Batsaur or whatever he's called. So yeah, and there's stuff in here. Wonder Dawn's there as well, and Giganta's going after the humans, and Super Saur's jumping out to save them. Other than that, it's a lot of fighting. I guess the main plot points I would say that come out of it is that Batsaur does go to question one of them and gets kind of vicious about it, and like the others are a bit, hey, you can't do that, and Wonder Dawn's like, hey, I've got the lasso here, like this will make him tell the truth, you don't need to interrogate him. So that's kind of the main dramatic beat I got out of it. It is a shame though, because the issue is like 80% combat, and the combat's not that fun to look at because it doesn't flow very well, I guess is the ultimate problem.
Really didn't enjoy the Bizarro lettering.
That's fair.
It was kind of fine at first in small doses, but by the time you got to like the last couple of pages where it's...
The problem is he's the one that gets the lasso and has to deliver all the exposition.
Yeah. Once, we're at that point, that's a hard page to read. Because at first it was just like one or two words and mostly it was okay. But then I got to some words where I'm like, yeah, I actually have to think about what this is saying. I have to stop and actually look at the word as opposed to it just kind of going in.
Yeah. Like, I still like the characterizations, Aquanix, like, running after Joker Zard and stuff like that, or, looking for his trident, because he's mad that it's been run away with. Like that's like I'm enjoying the characterizations. I'm still looking forward to the next issues, but I do hope that Gideon's back on the art, because I wasn't super feeling it. All the villains keep talking about like their master, like the one they're doing all this for, and at the end it teases the egg that the master's in that's hatching. So I mean, are we getting some sort of dark sideosaurus or something coming out of the egg? I don't know. But
I don't know. The way that it was describing the dark embryo, it really sounded like Galactus, and like he was the Silver Surfer Herald. Like, did you not get that vibe?
Well, they said embryo, so I was thinking DC, so I was thinking maybe a Mesodiamond kind of thing.
Maybe. Like it was the way that it's done this on other worlds. We go there, and we clean out the life. It just felt super Galactus-y, the way it was being described.
Yeah. That said, I feel like Darkseid's the likely one, just in that he tends to be considered to be the main like DC villain to use for things like this.
Yeah.
So maybe it's him coming out the egg. I don't know. Maybe it's the Gobbledygooker. That's another wrestling reference for people.
I did chuckle a little bit at the Jurassic Park reference in this one.
I'll go on.
As bizarre as that, the embryo will find a way. It always finds a way. Obviously, it doesn't quite quote exactly, but close enough, especially as we're doing it with all the dinosaurs, that you get the reference.
No, yeah, it works. So, okay, I'm still looking forward to the next issue. I just hope that either we have the regular artist back on the art, or it's a less combat heavy issue, because I don't think it would be much of a problem if it was just an issue of them talking to each other. It'd be less of
less of a problem, but I would still not enjoy it personally.
I'd still miss the regular artist.
And
yeah.
I think it's really disappointing in a 6-issue mini. I would rather have had delays and just had Getty into the whole thing. Especially, thinking long term, this gets stuck in a trade. You go in your bookshop, you flick through it, and this is just, especially if it's just the one issue in the middle, that's really jarring and kind of ruins that for me in terms of like long term sales of it.
That's a shame. There's no denying it. All right, what you giving Jurassic League 3?
Like a 4, which is really disappointing. But man, that art.
I'll probably go more like a 5.5. I'm not going to be quite as nuclear negative as you, but it's definitely a lesser issue, and I think, but because it is mostly just an art problem, like I feel, happy and confident enough that it'll get back to form.
I am hopeful the next issue is back to a regularized, and now we'll get this, other than the unfortunate long-term implications, but like it's not making me drop the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really didn't enjoy reading this one.